Hi, my name is Joe Royer. I'm from GeoTree Solutions. I'm the Director of Innovation and Technology there and have been with the company for over 15 years. We're now part of Henkel, and today we'd like to talk to you about our new geopolymer mortar, GeoSpray EX. GeoSpray EX is a new formulation. So it is a spray applied mortar application material. It has all of the standard physical properties that are required for all of these products, no matter who makes them in the industry, and it's fully compliant with the newly published ASTM F3706. So you ask the question, what's new, why is it innovative, and what's different? Well, when you're spraying these mortars, there are some limitations to what kind of projects you can do. Typically, someone develops one of these mortars to really have a working time of like 30 minutes because you have to be able to mix it, you have to be able to pump it, and you have to be able to apply it overhead. If you extend the working time past that, when you get to the overhead portion of applying it, it basically will fall off the wall. If you shorten the working time, you can't pump it very far. So this product extends the working time all the way out to 90 minutes, which allows us to pump it from more than 400 to 500 feet, kind of on an average large end of a project, all the way up to 3,500 linear feet. So this almost 10 times the pumping distance of the regular mortars used in this market. And when it gets there, you can apply it in much larger thicknesses. If you're using a sled, you can apply it in an inch and a half thickness and possibly do your job in one application. Or if you're doing it there by hand, because of some of the flexibility by a hand process, you can do even more, 3-4 inches of what you need. So that is the product, and that's what's new. So as an example, if you look at a traditional job, this is actually from our presentation this year at the show. This is the York region trunk sewer that was done originally in 2019. And you can see on this project, when it was originally done, there are 5,000 feet between access points, and it's 150 feet underground, which means how are you going to get the material there? So what was done originally was they actually stored powder up on the top, came up with a very elaborate way to move powder from the top to the bottom, mix it in the pipe, and then pump it the distance you needed to do it. That's a lot of powder movement, that's a lot of issues, and you can only really get away with something when the pipe's big enough to have all that room and your access point is. So these access points were 4 meters round, which is not normal, and the pipe depth is 104 inches in diameter. So in that case, you had a lot of flexibility. But when we did this on the second phase and developed the GeoSpray EX material for that, you can see some minor differences. We mixed on top, and then we pumped it the whole way. All 2,500 feet into the center, probably 500 or 600 feet above ground because you weren't right over the manhole, 150 feet down, and we moved back and forth. So this allowed you to mix above ground where it's much more safe to do and you have a lot more room and capacity, and pump that whole distance without having to deal with powder handling underground or all of those issues. So when you have a project where you have long distances between spray applications, these were almost impossible. Now they can be done. And when we talk about adding thickness to the top, you can see here, this is an example from the first trials we did, where you can see we were getting 2.5–3 inch thickness when we applied this overhead from a hand application, which gives you a little more flexibility than a sled, but you can do that as you need be. So what's the overall value? It lets you do projects you couldn't do before. How are you going to pump material more than 500 or 600 feet? How are you going to apply it when you got there and not ruin your hoses? So if you have long distances between applications, this now opens that up for spray applied applications, whether a sled or hand applied. It couldn't be done before. And this working time, the way we've handled it, there's some special things that the contractors will have learned how to do on how to get this application as you want. So this is the center of that 16th Avenue tunnel where you can see what's been done. Here's the final application as it was done. Again, what's the competitive position? This is the only product on the market that you can pump more than 500 feet on a regular basis. You can pump this up to 3,500 feet. That's 7, 8, 9, 10 times what you could do before. It just opens up the variability of the project capabilities you can do. So projects that couldn't be done before now can be. The other thing, what's the impact? Well, it lets you do these projects which may be lower cost, and this may be the right way to do it. But if you don't have access every 500 feet and you want to do something, you really need to put in new access points. So this avoids, it allows you to do this technology with no digging at all, no new manholes, no new access points. It doesn't matter if you have a turn, a 90-degree turn, a 135-degree turn, a 45-degree turn. You can go around corners with these technologies, and you don't need the underground. You don't need to dig anything at all. So with that, I'll give you a little view of, this is it live in action. This is 2,500 feet into a pipeline, 104 inches. You can see that pin on the wall is 4 inches in length, and you can see they're using a sled that they've specially designed for this material, and they're putting something like 1 3/4 to 2 inches of a single pass on in this application in a 104-inch pipe. And this is the material that allows you to do that. Beforehand, you would be trying to figure out what the best way to get that material there would be. You'd have to be mixing in the pipe. You may or may not be able to do this job. And you're probably only putting 3/4 of an inch of an application on in time. So this is more application as we go. So you can see here again, there's the pins. You can see the pin in the foreground that's already had the thickness covered. And you can see the application process ongoing. So this is a project that Michaels did that they completed in the middle of 2024, and this was the first large-scale project done with this technology that was commercialized right at the end of 2023. Again, thank you for your time. If you have any questions, both my email and phone number are there. Thank you very much.